Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Into Darkness. This is our series that is dedicated to Snarling Badger Studios' Space Station Zero, and this is a solo play campaign that features my crew, Thundrik's Profiteers. It's a shipping crew that hails from a ship called the Skyfarer, and my crew has been going through the depths of Space Station Zero. And this is battle report number 12. This is a challenge number 14, a Barracks challenge. In this one, I become my own worst enemies as my crew tries to get through the barracks, try to locate some leaking gases, driving them all insane, and proceed on further into the depths of Space Station Zero. So that being said, we're going to play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, we will talk about the scenario rules for this game, and then get this battle report started. So with that being said, let's get this video on a roll. Challenge 14, Barracks. This room is clearly a barracks, though what soldiers were housed here is impossible to say. The room seems completely sealed with remnants of bodies scattered all around the area. It is utterly chaotic, everything torn apart as though a hurricane swept through its center. As the last of your crew enters, the door behind slams shut, its security controls engaging and locking you all in. So for this scenario, ladies and gentlemen, this one's called the Barracks. For this one, what I have to do is deal with a gas leak that is going to slowly drive all of my crew members slowly insane. Pretty much with the gas leak, what ends up happening is at the start of each crew member's activation, they must make a life save 3. If this test is failed, the crew member does not activate and is now an enemy and act as per standard enemy AI. So because of that, I really only have a limited amount of time before all the members of my team actually succumb to this madness from this gas leak and, of course, start targeting each other, start killing one another. So the really crazy part is that my crew is actually quite elite. They've actually leveled up quite a bit with some really impressive combat stats and weapons, so they could cause a lot of damage to themselves if I'm not careful on this one. So I do have my work cut out for me on this one. Now, I can, of course, stop the gas leak. What I have to do is it requires a reaction challenge 3 test, and if it's passed, they look at the source of the gas leak, and then any crew member within 1 inch of that gas leak can attempt to repair it and halt the maddening gas. If they do so, the crew member must make a reaction challenge 6. Once this test is successful, the gas leak halts, and no additional crew members are required to make the life challenge test. All crew members who have already failed the life challenge test and become enemies remain enemies for the duration of that round, and at the end of that round the gas clears and all crew members return to their right minds and are no longer enemies. Now at the same time, I could take the option to escape via the sealed doors. In order to open those sealed doors, all I gotta do is take a challenge test. Requires intelligence challenge test of 8, so 8 successes out of 6+. If all crew members that have not failed the life challenge test against the gas leaks are ever within 3 inches of these sealed doors, you may choose immediately go to the end of the challenge below. However, any crew members who are under the effect of the gas leak are lost and must be removed from your roster. Now, there is a reward for this one. Hidden away in one of the rooms is a guard drone. All I gotta do is have a crew member make a intelligence test of 4 with a 6+ on a single roll, and if this test is successful, one crew member may add the guard drone below to their roster. It acts as part of the crew from this point forward. It has a life of 8, 5 movement, 4 combat, 4 reaction, 2 intelligence. It comes with heavy fists as well as a guard special ability, and basically I can equip it with different weapons if I want to as well. And that pretty much makes up the scenario rules for this one. So the scenario rules over with. We'll give you guys a couple seconds to take a look at the roster for Thundrik's Profiteers, and we'll move on to the battle report. So now we're back with battle plans as well as deployments. So first of all, let's start with my deployment real quick. Over here is my crew, the Thundrik's Profiteers, led by Bjorgen Thundrik, my commander. I also have Enrik Ironhelm, my engineer, Kazgan Drakskewer, my soldier, Garrett Allison, my pilot, as well as Deadeye Lund, my medical officer. Now this one is actually going to be kind of difficult because I do have to take life challenges every single turn. I have to make 3 successful life tests. Otherwise, I become maddened by this gas that's leaking into the barracks, in which case then they become enemies and they're controlled by enemy AI systems. So I become my own worst enemy if I'm not very careful on this one. Now, of course, I can, try to look for the source of the gas leak, and then, of course, I can repair it. But here's where the problem comes in. I'm not really sure if this was a mistake made by the publishing company or what, but on the map that shows where the deployment is and how the terrain should be laid out, there is no location for the gas leak. So I'm not really sure where it's supposed to be at. I'm going to assume that the gas leak is going to be right dead center in the middle of the table, right in this area somewhere, which kind of makes sense because, it's in the middle of the table. you can still do a lot of maneuvering. You still suffer the effects of the gas. So I'm assuming that's where it's supposed to be at on this battle, on this challenge. Now, of course, you do have the sealed doors, which is over here. And if for any crew member that is not affected by the gas, if they go within 3 inches of the sealed doors, they automatically escape. But the problem is, if you do that, people who are affected by the gas get left behind and they're eliminated from your roster. And since I only have a 5-man crew, I am not going to do that. So I'm going to try to look for this gas leak, try to stop this, that way the rest of my crew can then, of course, escape off the map. Now, luckily for me, if all of my members actually manage to escape the table without having to worry about the gas leak, then everything's fine. But, you know, it just kind of depends. So I do have my work cut out for me on this one. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and I get to go first on this one. So that takes directly to the end of turn number 1. So first of all, for my first activation, I activated Garen Allenson. Now, Garen Allenson did pass his life test, so that way he wasn't affected by the gas. He also passed his reaction test, finding the control panel in order to shut down the poison gas. So because I used the logistic expert ability when he was in the deployment area to double his movement allowance to make him move all the way across the table as quick as he possibly could. Unfortunately, I fell short of actually reaching the goal, so I spent the rest of my movement trying to get within an inch of it, so that way I could try to disable it at the end of my next turn. Now from there, of course, Kazgan Drexcurer got activated next. Unfortunately for him though, he failed his life test, so he has become frenzy and become an enemy. So he uses point-to-point teleporter device in order to jump across the battlefield directly here next to the exit. He then opened fire with his energy weapon directly into Garen Allenson, putting 2 wounds on him as well. Now for the rest of the test, of course, the rest of my team, Bjorgen Thundrik, Eric Ironhell, as well as Deadeye Lund, all 3 of those guys passed their life tests, so they moved up as quick as they possibly can, doing double movements directly towards the center of the battlefield. Bjorgen Thundrik's taking points, so that way he can take damage from the Kazgan Drexcurer for the next turn if necessary. At the same time, the rest of my guys are moving as quickly as possible as well. My plan for the next round is to have Deadeye Lund, if he passes his gas test, in order to go help out Garen Allenson, actually help him out, so that way I can disable the maddening gas. And that pretty much makes up turn number 1 on this one. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 2. So from there, we go directly to the top of turn number 2. So this is after all the activations are done. So the first thing I did is I activated Garen Allenson. Luckily, Garen Allenson did pass his gas save to make sure he doesn't go insane, so that way he doesn't go feral and start attacking members of my crew. And then having used his hyperscan in order to repair the pipe, managed to get 5 successes on that reaction test. So that part was pretty cool as well. Now from there, of course, it goes back to Kazgan Drexcurer, who is still possessed by the poison gas. So because he uses his AI system in order to move directly 5 inches away from here, and then open fire with his energy weapon directly into Bjorgen Thundrik, putting 3 wounds on him. So that part was kind of rough. At the same time, I decided to move up Enric Ironhell. He actually moved up next and actually finally got the very last success needed directly onto the poison gas. Because of the gas was making everyone go crazy, finally gets shut down. So because that was shut off, the rest of my crew doesn't have to really worry about taking insanity tests. So because I then moved up Deadeye Lund, I did make a mistake here. He was actually supposed to heal Garen Allenson. I forgot to remove that dice. But he actually healed up Garen Allenson up to his full maximum health. And at the same time, Bjorgen Thundrik as well as just kind of stays put, because I really don't want to put Kazgan Drexcurer out of action. And that takes us directly to the end of turn number 2. So with turn number 2 over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 3. So with that, we go directly to the end of turn number 3. So turn number 3 was pretty simple. All I had to do was just wait for Kazgan Drexcurer to return back to his senses. Because since the poison gas is no longer in effect, he's no longer being affected by it. And then lastly, of course, I did take a reaction test for my additional reward on this one. Pretty much I had to basically make an intelligence check of a 4+. 4 check with a 6+ on that one. So because I was able to secure myself a guard drone, which is represented by this ambot located here in the middle of the room. So because of that, that guard drone now becomes an additional member of my crew. So my crew is no longer a 5-man crew, it is now a 6-man crew, which is absolutely fantastic. Guard drones actually have a life characteristic of 8, movement of 5, 4 combat, 4 reaction, as well as 2 intelligence. It comes with heavy fists, but it can be equipped with additional weaponry, which is really helpful for me because I do have a spare energy missile weapon located in my crew's stash, so because I will be able to equip this one as well. At the same time, it also comes with the guard ability, where basically it takes damage as long as it's near somebody else in my crew. It can actually act as a bodyguard, which is all kinds of awesome. So just like that, this challenge is actually pretty quick. I think the reason why this challenge is so pretty much easy for my crew is because my crew is pretty elite, and they've also leveled up quite a bit on our course of our campaign. So I think that's why this challenge is a little bit easier. I can imagine it being a much more difficult challenge, especially if you have like a larger crew, because then more guys could possibly, go insane, but I got pretty lucky on that one. So because of that, my entire crew succeeded. I got myself a guard drone, and now we move on to our next challenge by going through the sealed doors and moving on to challenge number 16. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go directly to post game because this battle report is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So during the post game, as you can see, my entire crew managed to survive this challenge, which is absolutely fantastic. So I also gained experience points for Deadeye Lund, Kazgan Draxkewer, Enrik Ironhill, Garrett Allenson, and the newest addition to my crew, which is the Shipbreaker, which is a guard drone. As you can see, he has 8 life, 5 movement, 4 combat, 4 reaction, as well as 2 intelligence, and I also equipped him with a spare energy missile weapon that we actually had in my crew stash. He already comes with heavy fists as well as a guard special rule. And what the guard special rule basically states is that once per turn, when a crew member is damaged by a ranged attack within 3 inches of the guard drone, the drone may choose to take that damage instead, which is great because he's got 8 life, which is a little bit more resilient than the rest of my crew members, which is absolutely fantastic. Plus, he's got that energy missile weapon, which could be really great. Heavy fist for close combat, so having another gunner on my crew is going to be really awesome to have, so that way I can have more fighters and more activations as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So that's going to do it for this week, guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.